The palace gates have been slammed shut, and for the first time in history, the DSS is not there to protect a royal, they are there to arrest one. My crown's friends and families, a mother's nightmare has just become a real reality. While the world was looking the other way, a sudden, unprovoked attack has left 3 innocent royal children on the floor and a queen in total shock. We are talking about handcuffs inside the private chambers and a legendary troublemaker being dragged away. Is this the end of Aunty Igbi? Stay tuned because the palace is on fire. My lovely people, Count Jess is not like those other bloggers who spend 20 minutes stuttering and sputtering over their own speed. We don't do all that mumbling and bumbling like people who are trying to chew hot yam, while others are wobbling and murmuring because they are scared of the truth. Count Jess is giving it to you direct, unfiltered, and straight to the point. My Crown Jess friends and families, the news about Aunty Igbi's arrest has become the biggest thing trending on the internet right now. Nobody expected that after everything Aunty Igbi has done in the palace, she would be the one to charge up against Queen Naomi in such a wicked and unprovoked way. This attack is not just a small palace fight, it is a matter that has touched the innocent blood of Queen Naomi's triplets. When she charged at the queen, she also charged at the children, and this has made Nigerians all over the world erupt in anger. Everyone is asking the same question: how can the palace be so unsafe for children? The details of this matter are heavy. It all started on a Saturday inside the very private chambers of the palace. You see, the atmosphere was already tense because Aunty Igbi's time in the inner circle was coming to an end. Reports say that they had already carried her property, her bags, her clothes, her boxes, and moved them out of the inner private chambers of the king. Aunty Igbi didn't even know how her bags landed outside, and since that moment, she has been in a total frenzy. She was moving like a woman who had lost everything, and that was when the madness started. Queen Naomi was sitting calmly beside the king with her beautiful triplet right by her side. It's also supposed to be a quiet afternoon, but suddenly, without any warning or any shouting, Aunty Igbi charged. She rushed towards Queen Naomi like a whirlwind. My ground's friends and families, the palace guard and the people in the council were there, but nobody saw it coming. The move was so sudden that the reaction of the security came too late. To save herself and her children, Queen Naomi had to step back instantly. But in that confusion, in that rush to escape the attack, the triplets fell to the ground. Can you imagine the sound of loyal children hitting the floor? Silence scattered everywhere for a split second, and then the screaming began. A mother's heart is a heartbeat of her home, and when Queen Naomi saw her babies on the floor, her heart jumped. The king was sitting right there. He saw everything live and direct. He didn't need any witness to tell him embarrassing stories or give him excuses. He saw the woman he trusted charging at his wife and his heirs. Within minutes, the atmosphere changed from a royal chamber to a crime scene. The DSS did not waste any time. Operatives stormed the palace ground with full force. There was no negotiation, no please Aunty Igbi, and no long talk. They arrested her immediately. They put the handcuffs on Aunty Igbi right there in front of everyone. My Crown's friends and families, madness does not have an explanation when it comes to the law. She began to shout, she began to cry, and she started claiming it was all a misunderstanding. But the DSS does not want to hear stories. Across the whole world, the safety of children is paramount, and anything that crosses that line is unforgivable. The elders in the palace had to stop all the argument. When fire reaches the house, you stop talking and start pouring mortar. Queen Naomi was shaking to her bones, but she stood her ground. She immediately gathered her children, checking their eyes, at their hands, and their bodies for any blood or wounds. The fall was shocking, and doctors were summoned to the palace clinic immediately to check the triplets. As the news began to spread like wildfire, Nigerians started flooding the internet with reactions. One woman wrote, "Queen Naomi, please take the security of your children seriously. Don't leave them by your side. Put them where you can protect them with your own life." The internet is on fire because no nation jogs with innocent blood. The king has now ordered an urgent security review, putting a barricade and creating the strictest access zones around where the queen stays. Aunty Igbi is currently in DSS custody, rolling on the ground and weeping. She said she didn't need to hit the children, that she was only after the queen. But my Crown's friends and families, an apology is too late when the harm has already been done. The investigation is now looking at the threat to life angle, and palace immunities has been thrown out to window. This incident has changed everything. There is no more tolerance for drama when it touches the lives of the innocent. As the doors of the DSS van slammed shut on Aunty Igbi, the atmosphere inside the palace shifted from anger to pure cold fear. While the legendary troublemaker was being driven away in handcuffs, a race against time was happening in the medical wing. You see, when a mother like Queen Naomi sees her triplets on the floor after a violent charge, she doesn't care about who is going to jail. She only cares about the breath in her children's lungs. The king was moving like a man possessed. Witnesses from inside say he didn't even wait for the regular palace doctors who are always around. He knew that in a moment like this, you don't take chances with palace politics. He personally picked up his phone and called for a specialist emergency team to be brought in from the city immediately. He was heard roaring through the hallways that if even a single scratch was found on those children, the person responsible would not just face the law, they would face the full unbridled wrath of the throne's ancestors. The triplets were rushed into the private medical wing under a heavy guard. My crown gist friends and families, the silence in that waiting room was louder than any shout. Queen Naomi was reportedly sitting on the floor of the clinic, refusing to sit on the royal chairs provided for her. She was clutching her prayer beads, her eyes fixed on the white door where her 3 babies were being examined. Every minute felt like an hour. Every time a nurse walked out to get more supplies, the entire room would freeze in fear. Reports reaching Crown G say that the children were in a state of heavy emotional shock. While they didn't have broken bones, the trauma of being caught in such a wicked charge has left them shaking. They were reportedly crying for their mother in a way that would break the heart of a stone. The king stood by the window, his back to everyone, but those close to him say his hands were shaking, not with fear, but with a mix of betrayal and pure red-hot rage. But while the doctors were working, the king did something that has sent shockwaves through the entire kingdom. He didn't just order his security review, he ordered a total palace purge. My crown gist friends and families, the king has officially declared a red zone around Queen Naomi and the triplets. He has brought in an independent, high-level security detail that answers to no one but him. He reportedly looked at the old palace guards and told them, "You failed to protect the heirs. You let the enemy reach the heart of my private chambers. Your service is no longer required in this palace." Can you imagine? The king is firing people left and right. He is cleaning the house with a heavy broom, removing anyone who looks suspicious. The intensity grew even more when news leaked from the DSS headquarters. They say Aunty Igbi, currently in custody, has started to sing like a bird. She is allegedly claiming that she was pushed to do what she did. She is trying to point fingers at other people inside the palace, saying there's a secret group that wanted Queen Naomi out by any means necessary. This has turned the assault case into a conspiracy case. The king has had these reports and he has made it clear. No more mercy, no more family business excuses. If you are involved, whether you are a prince, a chief or a servant, the DSS is coming for you next. The palace is currently under a total lockdown. Nobody goes in, nobody goes out. The gates are barred and the search for the truth has become a hunt for the traitors. The big question now is, who are the people Aunty Igbi is naming in her interrogation? Is there another queen involved? Or is it a power struggle from the elders who think they are more powerful than the king? The suspense is killing everyone. While the triplets are being stabilized, the king is preparing a list of expulsion. Queen Naomi has remained silent through all of this. She hasn't made a single post. She hasn't spoken to the press. She is just there, a mother protecting her cubs. But the fire in her eyes tells you that the peaceful queen is gone. A warrior mother has taken her place. Stay close, my crown gist friends and families, because the names on that expulsion list are about to be revealed and you won't believe who is at the top of it. While the palace remains under a violent lockdown, the real fire is burning inside the DSS interrogation room. The legendary troublemaker Aunty Igbi is no longer acting like the untouchable royal relative. Reports reaching the Crown Gist headquarters suggest that the cold reality of those handcuffs has finally cleared her head. They say she has started to spill the key like a brookie pipe. In the midnight interrogation, something very heavy reportedly leaked out. Aunty Igbi is allegedly confessing that the attack on Queen Naomi was not just a sudden charge-up or a moment of madness. She is claiming that she was part of a secret alliance, a group of people inside the palace who saw that Queen Naomi's return and her influence over the king were becoming too strong. This alliance allegedly wanted to create a scare that would force the queen to pack her things and run for her life. But instead of a scare, the charge became a violent assault that put the heirs to the throne in danger. My crown gist friends and families, can you imagine the level of betrayal? To think that there are people the king trusts, people who eat from the palace kitchen, who were secretly nodding their heads while a plan was being made to charge as a man had 3 small children. When the king heard these leaked reports from the DSS, they say he didn't move for 10 minutes. He just stared at the empty seat beside him. The betrayal is deep and it is coming from inside the house. The intensity in the palace has now shifted from who did it to who else is involved. The king has reportedly given the DSS the green light to bring in 3 more high-ranking palace officials for questioning. Nobody is safe. Even the elders who used to speak with so much authority and traditional power are now whispering in the shadows, terrified that Aunty Igbi's confession will reach their doorsteps. They know that once DSS is involved, royal immunity becomes a thing of the past. Meanwhile, the security around Queen Naomi has been doubled again. These new independent guards are not the regular palace boys. They are experts who don't smile and definitely don't take bribes. They have created what they call a dead zone around the queen's quarters. If your name is not on the king's golden list, you cannot even breathe the air near that door. Queen Naomi herself is reportedly still in a state of deep prayer. Palace workers say the sound of her worship songs can be heard softly through the windows. She is fighting a spiritual battle while the king handles the physical one. The big question now is what happens when the DSS finishes their investigation. If a secret alliance is proven to be real, we're not just talking about one person going to jail. We are talking about a total royal punch. The king is reportedly preparing a document that will strip titles, remove privileges, and banish people from the palace grounds forever. This secret alliance is about to face the great banishing.
The sun has finally set on the old era of the palace, but the heat is just beginning. We are moving into the final deep dive of this royal earthquake. This is the moment where the quiet queen becomes the victorious mother and the king finally shows that a lion may be silent, but he is never weak. The sun has finally risen over the palace, but the atmosphere is not one of peace. It is the morning of reckoning. The silent lockdown is still in place, but the gates have just been opened for one reason: to let the traitors out. The king emerged from his private chambers this morning looking like a man who has not slept in days. He didn't come out to greet the chiefs or to receive praises. He came out with a document in his hand that has sent a cold shiver through the spine of everyone living within the royal walls. The DSS has finished the first round of the Aunty Igbi interrogation, and the names she dropped have caused a total earthquake. Reports reaching Crown Gist to say that the king sat on his high throne and summoned everyone, the elders, the family members, and their palace staff. The silence in the courtyard was so heavy that you could hear the wind blowing. The king didn't use a microphone. His voice was enough. He declared that the attack on Queen Naomi and the triplets was the final boundary that anyone would ever cross. He looked at certain individuals, people who have lived in the palace for years, and told them that their time had ended. He announced a great banishing. My crown gist friends and families, we are talking about titles being stripped in public. We are talking about royal protection being withdrawn from people who thought they were untouchable. The king made it clear, if you cannot protect the mother of my heirs, you cannot eat from the plate of this kingdom. The intensity reached a breaking point where the king officially signed the papers for the permanent expulsion of Aunty Igbi. She's not just going to face the law, she has been banned from ever stepping foot on the palace soil again. But she wasn't alone. 3 other high-ranking officials were reportedly stripped of their roles and ordered to leave the premises within the hour. The secret alliance she talked about has been dismantled with one stroke of the king's pen. While the traitors were packing their bags in shame, Queen Naomi made her first appearance since the attack. She didn't come out to mock her enemies. She walked out with her triplets who are now stabilized and responses. She stood beside the king, her presence a symbol of a victory that wasn't won with weapons, but with peace and prayer. The palace workers say she didn't even look at the people being sent away. She kept her eyes on her children and her husband. The king has now established a permanent independent security force for Queen Naomi's quarter. He has declared that the palace is no longer a place of family politics, but a place of family protection. protection. The era of letting enemies sleep in the next room is over. My crown gist friends and families, the palace has been cleansed. The warrior mother has seen the fall of her enemies, and the king has proven that his bloodline is more important than any old alliance. The drama is far from over, as the DSS investigations will lead to a court case. But for now, the throne is secure, the queen is honored, and the triplets are safe. People are asking in the comment section, will Aunty Igbi ever come back? Or who will be the next person to try the queen? But one thing is for sure, the king has drawn a line in the sand with royal blood, and nobody will dare to cross it again. Before I go, I must remind all my crown gist friends and families that everything we have discussed here is based on social media rumors, hearsay, and allegations. These are not confirmed facts yet, and you should not take them as the final truth. We are only bringing you the gist as it is being discussed in the public space. We will wait for official statements from the palace or the authorities for the final word.